Imagine, you are taken to a hidden world where thousands of giant djinn are standing, staring at you, whispering in a language you don't understand, and in the middle of that world, a man is about to be sentenced to death. But the most terrifying part? He is not a djinn, he is a human. Everything began on a strange night, when something unusual happened. The incident took place in the mid-1980s. The man involved was named Harun Maulana. He was a strong young man in his area and had recently graduated as a Maulana, taking a job at a madrasa as a teacher. He was not living at home due to his job. Instead, he stayed at the madrasa where he taught. Within a short time, he became well known in the surrounding community as a capable religious teacher. However, Harun Maulana also had a proud and somewhat arrogant personality. He did not care much about others' opinions and was known for his fearless nature. He often traveled alone at night and had no sense of fear. Around that time, he was about 27 or 28 years old and had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. His youngest child, a daughter, was only about 6 months old, and his wife lived at home with the children while he stayed at the madrasa. One night, after attending a dinner invitation, Harun Maulana was returning to the madrasa. 3 or 4 of his students were with him. The village roads were unpaved, made of dirt, and they were walking under the light of the moon. At one point, Harun Maulana suddenly stopped. In the moonlight, he noticed something unusual. A small snake and a cat were crossing the road together, from one side to the other. Neither Harun Maulana nor his students had a torch or any light with them, so they observed everything in the dim glow of the moon. The snake was moving very slowly, as if it were extremely weak or ill. It seemed to struggle with every movement. Beside it, the cat was gently pushing the snake with its paw, almost as if helping it move forward. Despite the cat's effort, the snake was taking a long time to cross. Watching this, Harun Maulana became impatient. He could have easily walked past them, but instead he stood there, waiting for them to finish crossing. As time passed and the snake still struggled, he began striking the ground with his foot to scare them away and make them move faster. Each time he stamped the ground, the cat responded with a sharp hissing sound, as if warning him to stay back. At that point, his students suggested, "Huzer, let's just go around them and continue walking." But Harun Maulana replied, "No, let's first see what's really going on here." He still did not realize that the situation was far from normal. Why would a snake and a cat behave this way? Why would a cat show such care, almost affection, toward a snake, helping it slowly cross the road? Instead of understanding the strangeness, his curiosity grew stronger. He became more interested in watching than in leaving. After some time, the cat managed to guide the snake to the side of the road, stopping beneath a tree. Seeing this, Harun Maulana again struck the ground several times with his foot, trying to drive them away from that spot. Then Harun Maulana and his students noticed something even stranger. Every time he struck the ground with his foot, the cat reacted angrily, making a sharp hissing sound. It sounded almost like a snake. Seeing this, Harun Maulana became very angry. He told his students to bring a stick from nearby. Even though they did not want to, they obeyed and brought one. Taking the stick, Harun Maulana hit the snake hard, aiming at its head. As soon as the blow landed, the snake twisted in pain. At that moment, the cat jumped forward, trying to scare him away. It was as if the cat was protecting the snake. The snake also turned toward him and continued hissing. It was a full moon night, so everything was clearly visible. The snake was yellow, and the cat was pure white. Harun Maulana then ordered his students to beat both the snake and the cat to death. Although they were hesitant, they followed his command and started hitting them with sticks. What they could not understand was the strange relationship between the snake and the cat. Even as the snake was being beaten, the cat did not run away. Instead, it stayed and took the side along with it. Every time the cat was hit, it remained silent. But every time the snake was struck, the cat reacted, jumping, crying out, and moving around in protest. Still, this did not change Harun Maulana's mind. He did not once think about why the cat was reacting this way. After repeated blows, the snake finally died. At that moment, the cat began to cry in a very sad and painful way. Even then, it continued to be beaten. Eventually, like the snake, the cat also became still and died. After making sure both were dead, Harun Maulana and his students left their bodies there and continued toward the madrasa. They reached safely without any problem. 6 or 7 days passed, and nothing unusual happened. Sometimes, before a big disaster, everything stays calm for a while. Harun Maulana could not imagine what terrible fate was waiting for him. On the 6th night, while sleeping at the madrasa, he had a dream. He saw himself lying in a large open field, and many people around him were crying. As he looked around, trying to understand where he was, he saw the same snake and the same cat standing at a distance, the ones he and his students had killed. He woke up suddenly in fear. The next morning, he told the students who were with him that night about the dream. They warned him to be careful, but Harun Maulana was very fearless and proud. He ignored their warning and treated it as just a dream. 9 days after the incident, he set out on a journey with one of his students for an important task. At that time, travel by river was common and took a long time. So he boarded a launch from a riverside area and began his journey to another city. After about a day and a half, he reached his destination and completed his work.
On the day of his return, he attended an invitation at a house. After finishing, he and his student boarded the launch again to return. During these days, nothing unusual happened, and he almost forgot about the dream. When they started their return journey, the evening prayer time had already passed. The launch moved along the river. After 5 or 6 hours, it stopped at a small dock. Harun Maulana asked the launch driver how long they would stop. The driver said it would be for a short time. Thinking it would be good to stretch after sitting for so long, he got down with his student and started walking around. The dock was very small, with only a few people waiting. Around it were bamboo groves and tall palm trees. After walking for a while, Harun Maulana suddenly felt the need to relieve himself. At that moment, he told his students, "You stay here. I'll go nearby for a moment to relieve myself." He then walked toward a garden area beside the dock. The student waited for him. But 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20, and still, he did not return. The launch master then said to the students, "Please get back on board. We are about to leave." The students replied, "Our teacher went just nearby, but it has been a long time. He still hasn't returned." Hearing this, the launch master and the student took a torchlight and went in the direction he had gone to search for him. By then, darkness had already fallen. They had brought the torch from the launch to search in the dark. Together, they searched for Harun Maulana. When they reached the base of a palm tree, they found his cap lying on the ground, the one he always wore. But there was no sign of him. They searched the surrounding area thoroughly, but he was nowhere to be found. Night was getting deeper, and there were almost no people nearby to ask for help. Everyone became extremely worried. It was clear that something had gone wrong. After waiting for a long time, the launch master said, "How long can we keep searching like this? There are passengers waiting. Let's leave now. If your teacher has gone somewhere, he can come later. The launch comes here regularly. There's no reason for you to stay here this late at night." With heavy hearts and no other choice, the students finally returned to the launch, taking only their teacher's cap with them. The next afternoon, they reached their area. At the madrasa, they reported everything to the head teacher. Soon, the whole madrasa came to know about the incident. Everyone became worried about where he had gone. Deep down, many still hoped he would return, but no one could imagine the terrible fate that awaited him. 1 day passed, then 2, then 3, but he did not return. Finally, the news was given to his family. Hearing that he was missing, his family broke down in tears. His parents became deeply worried. No one could understand what to do. After some days, the students who had been with him that night told the head teacher about the earlier incident, the killing of the snake and the cat, and also about the strange dream Harun Maulana had shared with them. After hearing this, the head teacher realized that this disappearance was not something ordinary. There had to be a reason behind it. He, along with those students, went to Harun Maulana's house and explained everything to his parents and his wife, the incident of that night and the dream. Hearing this, his family understood that he had fallen into serious danger. They thought about his young wife and their 3 small children. If something happened to him, how would his wife raise them? Where would she go? What would she do? His father then said to the head teacher, "What can we do now? We must find him as soon as possible. Wherever he is, we are ready to do whatever it takes." The head teacher replied, "We must trust in God, and we must find a knowledgeable and capable religious person who can help uncover this matter." His parents requested him strongly to find such a person, someone who could reveal where their son was, whether he was alive or dead, and what had happened. Days passed. Nearly 10 days went by after his disappearance. In total, about 22 days had passed since the night the snake and the cat were killed. Still, there was no news of Harun Maulana. His family, his students, and his colleagues at the madrasa could not accept how a man could simply disappear like this. Even the people who knew him well found it impossible to believe. As the head of the madrasa, the responsibility weighed heavily on the head teacher, and he continued trying his best to find a solution. 12 days after his disappearance, one night his mother had a dream. In her dream, she was walking through a strange place. There were no people around, only large, unfamiliar trees everywhere. Suddenly, she heard a sorrowful crying sound. She tried to understand where it was coming from. The sound grew louder and louder. Then she realized, the voice sounded familiar. But she could not remember whose voice it was. Then she heard it clearly. "Mother, I am in great pain. I am suffering so much, please save me, please save me." Suddenly, she woke up in fear, trembling and crying. Hearing her cries, her husband woke up and asked, "What happened? Why are you crying like this in the middle of the night?" She told him everything about the dream. Holding her, he also began to cry. Even as a father, he could not hold back his tears. Still, he said, "We must try. Crying alone will not help." Eventually, they somehow calmed down and went back to sleep for the rest of that night. At dawn the next day, Harun Maulana's father went to the madrasa where his son used to teach. There, he met the head teacher and shared his wife's dream in detail. Hearing the dream, the head teacher became The head teacher informed Harun's father about this scholar. Desperate to find his son, the father agreed immediately. The next morning, both of them set out for Jessore. They traveled by boat from Malahat ferry ghat, passed through Khulna, and eventually reached the scholar's home by evening. The man they met was around 80 or 85 years old, wearing a white Punjabi and cap, walking slowly under the weight of age. He greeted them with peace, and they returned the greeting. "Who are you? Where have you come from?" he asked. Harun's father replied, "We have come from far away, in great distress." The old scholar invited them inside and asked them to explain everything. Harun's father began, "My son's name is Harun. He is a madrasa teacher. This man with me is the head teacher of that madrasa. A few nights ago, while returning from a feast, my son encountered something, and since then, he has gone missing." He went on to explain everything, the strange incident, the disappearance, and his wife's dream. After listening quietly, the old scholar raised his hand and said, "Enough. You don't need to say more. From what I understand, something bad has happened to your son. He is no longer under normal human control." He paused, then continued. "This matter is extremely complicated. In my younger days, I handled many such cases. But now I am old. These tasks require strength, focus, and strict discipline. At my age, I cannot guarantee success. There is even risk to life in such matters." Hearing this, Harun's father broke down in tears. Holding the old man, he cried, "Please, tell me where my son is. Is he alive? Can he be brought back? His mother waits for him every day. He has 3 small children. What will happen to them? We have no one else." The head teacher also pleaded with him. Seeing their pain and helplessness, the old scholar's heart softened. He sighed deeply and said, "Do not cry. I will try one last time. I will seek help from Allah and see if any information can be found. But I cannot promise success." He offered them a place to stay for the night. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, the old scholar sat alone in a room, engaged in deep spiritual practice. At dawn, after the far prayer, he woke them up and said, "I sent some of my Djinn students to search for your son. They tried, but could not find much. However, they confirmed one thing: your son has been taken by Djinn." He continued, "I have now sent more powerful Djinn to gather detailed information. Pray to Allah. If He wills, we will know more soon." The day passed slowly, morning turned into afternoon, and afternoon into night. After the night prayer, everyone went to sleep. Sometime deep in the night, they were suddenly awakened by the old scholar calling them. They opened the door and saw him trembling, breathing heavily. "What happened?" Haroon's father asked in fear. The old scholar sat down and said, "My Djinn have returned, and what they told me will make your blood run cold." He began, "A few nights ago, while returning from a feast, your son encountered a cat and a small snake on the road. But they were not ordinary animals, they were two Hindu Djinn. The cat was a brother, and the snake was his younger sister, his only beloved sibling. They had come from a region in India to visit relatives and attend a feast nearby. The girl was injured, she had hurt her leg. So she took the form of a snake, moving slowly along the ground. Her brother took the form of a cat and was helping her cross the road. But before they could move away, your son and his students came upon them. Because of the sudden encounter, they couldn't change their forms. And then, something terrible happened. But they had not harmed Haroon Maulana or his students in any way. It was Haroon Maulana himself who attacked first. He also told his students to beat them mercilessly. While they were hitting the snake with sticks, the cat, who was actually the brother, kept jumping forward again and again, making desperate sounds as if begging them to stop. He was trying to protect his sister. She was already injured and unable to move properly. But even then, Haroon Maulana showed no mercy. They kept beating her until she died. After the sister died, the brother did not run away. Even though he knew he would also be killed if he stayed, he could not leave his sister behind. Because of his love for her, he stayed there. And soon, he too was beaten to death by Haroon Maulana and his students. At that time, no other Djinn were nearby, so no one witnessed what happened. Later, when their parents came looking for them, they found both of their children lying dead under a tree. Their bodies were covered in blood and full of injuries. Seeing this, their parents became extremely angry. They soon found out who was responsible. Even then, they did not take revenge immediately. The father of the two was the leader of a powerful group. If he had killed a human right away, others in his group might start killing humans without control. That would destroy the order of their society. So instead, he chose to bring Haroon Maulana to their land and give him punishment through proper judgment. They could have killed Haroon Maulana instantly, but they didn't. At the right time, they captured him. A powerful Djinn took him away. If anyone had tried to stop them, it could have caused great destruction. They took Haroon Maulana to their land, somewhere in a region of India. He is now locked inside a closed room. He is still alive, but he is imprisoned. His trial has not happened yet, but it will take place very soon. The old scholar then said, "My Djinn showed me his condition like a vision. I saw him sitting inside a locked room, crying. But I do not know where that place is." Hearing this, Haroon's father asked in fear, "Will we ever get my son back? Will they kill him?" The old scholar replied, "I have asked my Djinn to speak with their leaders and try to find a solution before the trial. Let us see what happens." The next day, more information came. The scholar said. The trial will take place on the night of the new moon. The king of their world will be present, along with important members of their society. Whatever decision the king gives, everyone must accept it. This case involves the killing of the only son and daughter of a powerful leader. Even their king is deeply affected. If we can solve this before the trial, there may still be hope. Then the scholar sent a message through his djinn. Go to their king. Give him my greetings and tell him I want to meet him before the trial. At first, the king refused. But later, he agreed. He sent back a message. Tonight, I will come. Tell him to wait for me late at night. And no one else should know about this. The scholar did not tell everything to Haroun's father at first. He only said that he was trying his best. But the tension kept growing. Haroun's father and the head teacher could not sleep. They were deeply worried about what would happen next. Late at night, they suddenly heard a loud sound. It sounded like thousands of horses running toward the house. The ground seemed to shake. At that moment, the scholar's djinn told him, "Please come outside. The king has arrived." He went outside and saw something unbelievable. The entire yard was filled with horses. White horses everywhere, and some black ones too. As far as he could see, there were only horses. And something even more frightening was about to happen. Suddenly, the horses moved aside from the middle, creating a clear path. It was obvious that something powerful was coming forward. From behind, a massive snake raised its hood and, within moments, appeared right in front of the scholar. Seeing such a terrifying creature so suddenly, the scholar became frightened. But behind him were his djinn followers. They reassured him, saying, "There is nothing to fear. He will not harm you." In front of him stood the king of the djinn, in the form of that snake, along with his army. The atmosphere became extremely tense. Everything was silent and still. Breaking the silence, the djinn king spoke. "You wanted to meet me. So I have come to you myself. You are a respected man, so I have honored your request. I hope you will not create any trouble." Then he said firmly, "Do not ask me to save Haroun. What he did was a clear act of murder. It was not a mistake. He did not act unknowingly. And for murder, punishment is certain." He continued. "The students who were with him are not guilty. They acted under his command. They did not want to do it, and they are young. So we have forgiven them. The judgment will take place on the night of the new moon." The scholar then said, "Can the judgment be held in our presence?" Haroun did not know they were djinn. If he had known, he would not have done this. His parents cry for him every day. He has 3 children, what will happen to them? The king replied, "Haroun has children, yes. But my people also lost 2 children, a brother and a sister. Haroun killed them mercilessly." He continued, "When jinn harm your people, you capture them, punish them, trap them, bury them, or even destroy them. But when your people kill our children, should there be no justice?" Hearing this, the scholar fell silent. He had no answer. The king added, "Even in your religion, there is punishment for murder. And in ours as well. You follow your faith, and we follow ours, but justice is a rule we both uphold. If we were cruel, we could have harmed Haroun's family too. But we did not. That shows we are not unjust. Now let go of hope for saving him. He will be judged according to our law. No one can save him except the Creator." After a moment, the scholar asked again, "Can I be present during the judgment?" The king stayed silent for a while, then said, "Normally, no human is allowed in our court. But since you have asked, I permit you to be present." Then he warned, "You are an honorable man. Maintain that honor. If you or any human tries to interfere or rescue Haroun, we know very well how to destroy an entire family line." Then the king instructed the scholar's djinn, "On the night of the new moon, bring him to the court. Inform my soldiers so they allow him to enter with respect. After saying this, the great snake slowly rose into the air and disappeared. The horses began to run and vanished one by one until everything was empty again. Haroon's father and the head teacher had witnessed all of this secretly through a small gap in the window. They had heard faint sounds and became curious, but they could not fully understand the conversation. Still, what they saw was enough to fill them with fear. The next morning, the scholar called them and said, "Next Friday is the night of the new moon. I will go there and see what happens. You should return home now." They told him they had seen something during the night. The scholar replied, "You should not have watched. But now, go back and pray. Let us hope for a solution." They returned home. The following Saturday, they came back again to the scholar's house, eager to know what had happened during the judgment. When they arrived in the evening, they saw the scholar sitting quietly after prayer. As soon as he saw them, he said, "I could not succeed, forgive me." Hearing this, Haroon's father broke down in tears. After calming him, the scholar began to explain what had happened on the night of the new moon. "That night, my djinn came to take me. They told me to place my hand on their shoulder and close my eyes. After a few seconds, they told me to open my eyes. When I opened them, I saw a completely different world. Giant beings, enormous in size, unlike anything I had ever seen before. All around, thousands of giant djinn were standing. Some were wearing traditional dhoti, some long robes. It was mainly a Hindu-dominated area. There were Muslim djinn present as well, but their king was a Hindu djinn. Everyone seemed to live together peacefully. Different groups wore different kinds of clothing. There were sages, scholars, and even learned Muslim djinn. All of them lived there in harmony. Djinn from all kinds of communities and backgrounds were present. A chair was given to me. The judgment was being held in the middle of a vast open field. There was a huge throne, and it felt like everyone was waiting for someone. As I looked around, the giant djinn were staring at me and whispering among themselves. I could not understand their language. After some time, a tall, powerful elderly figure arrived, surrounded by many large djinn. As soon as I saw him, I realized, this was the same djinn who had come earlier in the form of a snake. He sat on the throne and said, "Huzer, welcome to our world." I nodded in response. Then he ordered, "Bring Haroon." Haroon was brought in. As soon as he saw me, he started crying. The king asked, "Do you want to speak to him?" I said, "Yes." I asked, "Haroon, how are you?" "I am a human, not a djinn. Your father came to me to rescue you. But you have committed a grave crime. That is why this judgment is taking place today. I am here only because the king allowed me." Haroon said nothing. He just kept crying. Then the trial began. The djinn present started saying that Haroon should be given the death penalty. They said he had intentionally and cruelly killed 2 members of their kind. It was not a mistake, it was deliberate. The parents of the 2 djinn who were killed also said, "We want justice. We could have taken revenge ourselves, but we trusted this court. Now give a fair judgment." Then the king said, "According to our law, the only punishment for this crime is death. Everyone here, including the victim's parents, demands it. There is no exception in this law." Then I spoke. "I respect your law. Haroon has committed a serious wrong, I accept that. But he is a religious teacher. He did not know they were djinn. If he had known, he would not have done this. Forgiveness is a noble act. If he is executed, it will be deeply painful for his family and society. I request you to consider reducing his punishment." The king then asked the parents of the victims, "What do you want? The decision is yours. If you want, the death sentence will be carried out. If you choose otherwise, that is also your right." After thinking, the parents said, "We will not forgive him. But instead of death, we want him to be imprisoned for life. He will remain in our prison forever and never return home." Then, In front of everyone, Harun was sentenced to life imprisonment. I then requested, "When he dies, please send his body back to his family. They deserve at least that." The king agreed and gave his word. As I was leaving, Harun said, "Please tell my family to pray for me. We may never meet again in this life, but I hope we can be together in the next life. Tell them to pray for me." Then I placed my hand on the jinn's shoulder and closed my eyes. Within seconds, I found myself back in my own yard. It is extremely rare in history for a human scholar to be present in a jinn court. This was only possible because the king respected the scholar. A truly honorable person is respected in every world. After hearing everything, Harun's father cried deeply. Eventually, he returned home, accepting the reality. He thanked the scholar for trying his best and also thanked the jinn who had helped. The scholar also apologized, saying, "I could not bring your son back. May God forgive me. I tried my best." With a broken heart, Harun's father returned home and told everything to his family. From that day on, they gave up hope of his return. This incident happened in 1980. Now it is 2026. More than 46 years have passed. But Harun Maulana's body has still not returned home.